Alrighty guys, so let's go ahead and do steep turns. So let's go ahead and show you a quick video here on our flight simulator how to do some steep turns. So I've got the plane all set up. We're at 7,000 feet here. That's about 2,500 feet AGL. The first step that we're going to do to set for steep turns is kind of get our power set. So we're nice and trimmed out, nice and level here, right? 7,000 feet. And I'm going to go ahead and do a couple clearing turns after I got my power. So I've got my power set here for about 100 knots. Okay. Now each airplane you fly, you're going to do it at different speeds. You just want to make sure you do it below your maneuvering speed. But today we're going to do it at 100 knots. Typically in Cessna 172s, that's a pretty good speed for steep turns. So before we get started, let's go and do a couple clearing turns. Make sure we do these before every maneuver. Obviously on the sim, there's not going to be any traffic, so I'm not going to do full clearing turns here, but you're going to want to make sure you do a clearing turn to the left and a clearing turn over here to the right, just making sure that there's no other traffic in the area so that we'll be safe to perform our maneuver. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my outside visual reference point. I'm going to use this tall mountain right out here on the simulator for my visual reference point. That's the point that I'm going to start and end each 360-degree turn on. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to do steep turns. They're 45-degree bank turns in each direction, and I'm going to kind of show you how we do it. So we're all set up. We're nice and trimmed out at 7,000 feet, 100 knots. What we're going to do is we're slowly going to start our bank over to the left to 45 degrees of bank. So I'm banking over, okay? As I cross about 20 degrees of bank, I'm going to go ahead and add in some power, add in a couple inches of power here, a couple hundred RPM. At about 30 degrees of bank, I'm going to start adding in some back trim. Okay, and I'm just slowly going to keep the plane rolling over to 45 degrees of bank. So here's my 45 degrees of bank. I've got my back trim in, holding 7,000 feet and 100 knots on my airspeed. And I'm just going to make small up and down corrections with my yoke to stay right here at 7,000 feet and 100 knots, doing 365-degree turns in either direction. As I'm doing this, I'm looking mostly outside the airplane, just glancing inside every once in a while to make sure my altitude and my speed are good. Okay, as I'm coming up on my mount point, I'm going to roll out, point at my mount point again, kind of holding the nose forward because I do have a lot of power and trim in. And I'm going to roll straight into a steep turn to the right. Here's 45 degrees of bank, and I'm going to start adding that back pressure again so that I can stay right at that 7,000 feet and 100 knots. 7,000 feet, 100 knots. 45 degrees of bank to the right this time as we complete our 365-degree turn all the way around. 360-degree turn, sorry. 365 days of the year. 360-degree turn as we come around. Looking outside, I'm kind of waiting for my visual reference point to come up about 15-20 degrees before my visual reference point. I'm going to start rolling out. I'm going to hold the nose forward so I don't climb. You can see I'm adding some forward trim here. Keep the plane from climbing so I stay at 7,000 feet. I'm going to bring my power back to my original cruise setting. And then I'm just going to retrim out the airplane for cruise. So throughout the turn, we held 7,000 feet and 100 knots, and as the turn ended, we're still at 7,000 feet and 100 knots. We're nice and trimmed out. We're back on our outside visual reference.